these temperatures will be, though, by the end of the holiday weekend, and that's coming up for you in just a few minutes. Natalie and Jerry, thanks so much. And we're checking in on that downtown connector. That's where we got our camera out there at the great curb. So pretty slow movement if you're on that northbound side of things. You can see it's kind of creeping along there. Seeing some brake lights as well. So we've got 10 minutes to get you from Lincoln Parkway to Parkway Interchange. And also checking in on the big three. So we had a crash on 85 southbound at Beaver Road. We also had some debris. So that crash is now clear, though. So that's the good news there. These are all roughly about the same. So 85 from Highway 316, 400 from Overland, 75 from Wade, bringing you back 14 to 17 minutes to travel southbound to Tootie.
Thank you. Strong storms moved through North Georgia overnight, having rain led to flooding in some areas like Mableton. One homeowner says her yard and basement flooded, and at one point she went outside and called her dogs to come back in the house and says they had to swim to her. She says it's a problem her family deals with every time it rains, and she wants Gina to fix it. The homeowner says she called Gina about flooding and was told that they could do nothing to fix the ditch in her yard.
Here's a look at the storm damage in Pickens County. Emergency officials say several trees and power lines came down overnight near Highway 136. There were several accidents in that area. No word yet on any injuries. Officials asked drivers to avoid this highway, at least for now.
Governor Kemp will hit the campaign trail hard today. He plans to hold a number of events in northeast Georgia. And he's got a poll out that shows him with a pretty hefty lead.
Great news, but today's a different day. My goal is to win every single day. We're working extremely hard to do that. The voters will be the ultimate poll.
That's Governor Kemp's reaction to a poll this week showing him leading the Republican primary by just under 10 points. In an exclusive interview with Fox 5's Claire Sims, the governor talked about the state of the race as today he kicks off his first major campaign swing.
But make no mistake, my goal is to beat Stacey Abrams. I'm the only person in Georgia that's been able to do that. I plan on doing it again.
He'll have to get past former Senator David Perdue first. Perdue, who has been endorsed by former President Donald Trump, held his campaign kickoff tour earlier this month after quarantining from his second bout with COVID. Perdue is hoping to benefit from Vernon Jones dropping out of the race, allowing Perdue to consolidate the pro-Trump anti-campaign department.
But I can't control what other people are doing, and he's running against me. It's a free country.
Likely waiting in the wings is Democrat Stacey Abrams. She's run a fairly low-key race so far, but last month did appear when she picked up the endorsement of the AFL-CIO labor union.
But unfortunately, the Georgia we live in today is led by a failed governor. Someone who believes in inaction. Someone who likes to take credit, but no responsibility.
One thing Stacey Abrams has done really well is raise a whole lot of cash. $9.5 million or so in less than 2 months.
President's Day will be a day of change, where after several dry days, by late Monday we'll be watching some rain move back in from the west and the southwest. But today's forecast looks like this. This is where the numbers should return by late afternoon. Low 50s with a clearing sky and about 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. But they'll be lighter tonight. So we're going to have that combination of dry air, clear skies, light winds. That is maximum cooling. It means that we'll have temperatures near and below freezing to start out Saturday morning. So really the story of the weekend is cold mornings, but milder afternoons. Not a bad day tomorrow. Upper 50s and low 60s for highs, and then the numbers will move up from there. We're going to get back to spring-like numbers for most of next week, but we're also going to trade in the sunny and dry weather for something a little more unsettled. We'll be talking about a chance of rain returning by late Monday, and daily chances of rain at least through Thursday. Natalie and Joanne, thank you. And we are checking in. We've got a crash on the West Expressway. This is eastbound at Six Flags Parkway, so as you're making your way into town, it is blocking a couple of those right lanes, so impacting that commute as you're traveling from Fairburn Road over to that west wall. So try using Highway 78. That's going to be your best bet to move around this. We also have a tractor trailer crash that just cleared to the right shoulder. This is a 75 southbound at Chastain Road. We are seeing some lingering delays, though, back up to Hickory Grove Road. And we've got some construction work that's blocking the left lane on 400 northbound, right before the Glen Ridge connector. So this is that
MARTA track project that we mentioned earlier this morning, it will be continuing through the weekend, so just keep that in mind if you're traveling in that area. But
Natalie, thank you. Russian forces are now just looking for an excuse to invade Ukraine, and that could happen at any moment.
That's the assessment from the Biden administration, and Eastern Europe remains a powder keg this morning. Fox's Doug Luzader has more this morning from Washington.
Ukraine has been teetering on the edge of war for weeks now, but the warnings from the Biden administration are getting more and more ominous. A school evacuated in eastern Ukraine after it was shelled. There have been hundreds of attacks in a region where pro-Russian forces may be trying to draw Ukraine into war and give Russia's Vladimir Putin the pretext he's looking for.
They are engaged in a false flag operation that is ridiculous.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told the UN Security Council that Putin's excuse could come in many forms.
It could be a fabricated so-called terrorist bombing inside Russia. The invented discovery of a mass grave. A staged drone strike against civilians. Or a fake, even a real attack using chemical weapons.
And despite Russia's claims that they are drawing down forces, the U.S. says it's just the opposite, even pointing to a temporary bridge that could help bring Russian tanks into Ukraine.
I think we're beyond diplomacy now. One thing about Putin doesn't belong, which is unfortunate.
For his part, Putin is looking for a drawdown of NATO forces in Eastern Europe. And Russia just expelled a diplomat from the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin just arrived in Poland to talk about the Russian invasion threat, something the president thinks is imminent. And this may not be confined to Ukraine. The Biden administration is warning U.S. companies to be on the lookout for cyber attacks here at home. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Turning now to the COVID-19 pandemic, new infections have gone down and hospitals are treating fewer patients nationwide. The CDC now faces more pressure to revise its own mask guidelines. The agency has signaled that could be soon. Its decision will be based on community transmission and hospitalization rates.
Moving from this pandemic will be a process led by science and epidemiologic trends, and one that relies on the powerful tools we already have.
The CDC continues to recommend wearing face coverings in areas with high transmission rates. Hey, 20 is now your time coming up on People Line. It's all about the three B's. Perfect. Here and the B's that want to stay tuned. Steve, we can find all.
Good Day Atlanta is brought to you by Superior Plumbing. Call 770-422-PLUM.
Even if they also you can buy your next vehicle without going to the dealership, now you can with Beaver Direct. It's fast and really simple. Log into beaverswayofcoming.com, click on Beaver Direct, quietly shop hundreds of vehicles, obtain a credit approval and trade appraisal in minutes.
Okay, Atlanta, time to start thinking about what to do with that tax refund. How about falling in love with your folks again? And here to tell us more is our Edmonds with the Big Clear.
That's right, your home is one of your biggest investments. So invest back into your home with that tax return money and build equity.
Oh, just such a great idea. Okay, so how do we get this whole process started?
It's just so easy. Call 877-50-FLOOR, log on to 50floor.com and set up that free, no obligation in-home design consultation where we send an expert to your home with the best carpet, hardwood, vinyl plank flooring, laminate floors, and tile. And you see it all in the comfort and safety of your own home.
Oh my gosh, it makes so much more sense than driving all over town from big box store to big box store. You could never match materials that way. That is so cool. Okay, so it's installation time. I'm a little worried. How does that work?
Installation day couldn't be easier. We do all the heavy lifting. Our background check professional installers come into your home, haul away the old material, and recycle it. We'll inspect the subfloor, and in about a day, we can be in and out of your home. The installation process is fast, easy, and efficient.
It's absolutely amazing how you can get it done in most cases one day. Okay, so I know you came here with a little treat for us, right?
Absolutely. We have the best special all month long. 60% off all of our materials. That's
Going on tour, gonna rock for sure. Touch your back, babe. Our rock is all the rage. Let's breathe in clear. Let's light up the mirror. We're getting glam. On stage, our songs will jam.
Well, sign me up. Thanks so much.
Everyone dance. What a rockin' band. Jamming glam to the Any portable stereo now, battery, CD, and player not included.
And if you mention promo code channel, you get an extra $100